Very good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. It is a Monday morning and there is lots that's making news. Let us start with the headlines. India strongly condemns a targeted killing of a Sikh youth in Pakistan's Peshawar. MEA demands exemplary punishment for perpetrators of heinous acts. Nankana Sahib incident clearly shows condition of minorities in Pakistan, says Home Minister Amit Shah. Calls attack on an answer to all those demonstrating against the CAA. After infant deaths in Kota and Bundi hospitals, reports of much higher deaths emerged from Bikaner PBM hospital. 162 newborns reportedly died in December. Home Ministry seeks report on JNU campus violence from the Delhi police. Government also demands answers from university on the incident. And amid US-Iran tensions, Tehran rolls back nuclear deal commitments. Iraqi parliament votes on plan to end US troop presence. US threatens a sanction on Baghdad. India expresses concern over the situation in the Middle East. Top story this morning. Now, India has strongly condemned the targeting killing of a minority Sikh community in Pakistan. Now, this after reports emerged of a murder of a Sikh youth in Peshawar in Pakistan. Now, Ravinder Singh was coming to Peshawar from Shangla when he was murdered. Now, this incident follows the recent vandalism and the desecration of the holy Gurudwara Nankana Sahib and the unresolved case of abduction, forced conversion and marriage of a Sikh girl. The Ministry of External Affairs said that Pakistan should stop violating and take immediate action to apprehend and give exemplary punishment to the perpetrators of the crime. The ministry said that the Pakistani government should act in defense of their own minorities instead of preaching sermons about it to other countries. The statement from the MEA also pointed out Islamabad's inaction regarding several cases of violence against the Sikhs there. Meanwhile, BJP President Amit Shah on Sunday said that the opposition parties are misleading the people over the amended Citizenship Act and are instigating violence in the country. Now, speaking at an event in Delhi, Amit Shah accused the Congress Party, the Aam Aadmi Party and other opposition parties of misleading people on the provisions of the Citizenship Amendment Act, resulting in violence across the country. He added that CAA's beneficiaries are largely Dalits and poor, and those opposing the law are against these people. Amit Shah called Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and Gandhis as anti-Dalits for questioning the CAA.
प्रधानमंत्री जी ने सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट एक्ट को कैबिनेट के अंदर मंजूरी दी, लोकसभा ने पारित किया। केजरीवाल ने जनता को गुमराह कर कांग्रेस पार्टी ने विशेषकर राहुल बाबा और प्रियंका वाड्रा ने जनता को गुमराह कर दंगे करवाने का काम किया है। मित्रों, दंगे करवाने का काम किया। आप देश की माइनॉरिटी को भड़का रहे हो। क्या आपकी नागरिकता चली जाएगी? मैं माइनॉरिटी के भाइयों बहनों को कहना चाहता हूं, सीएए से किसी भी देश की माइनॉरिटी नागरिक की नागरिकता जा ही नहीं सकती, क्योंकि सीएए में नागरिकता लेने का प्रावधान ही नहीं।
And Amit Shah further said that the recent attack on the Nankana Sahib Gurudwara in Pakistan stressed the importance of the Citizenship Act to provide relief to the religiously persecuted minorities in the neighboring country. He reiterated that this legislation has nothing to do with the citizenship of the minorities in our country.
इन लोगों ने एक झूठ का पुलिंदा किया। वो कह रहे हैं पाकिस्तान में कहां अत्याचार हो रहा है, अरे केजरीवाल, आंख खोल कर देख लो। राहुल जी, सोनिया जी, आंख खोल कर देख लो। परसों ही ननकाना साहब के से पवित्र स्थान पर हमला कर सिख भाइयों को आतंकित करने का काम पाकिस्तान ने करा है। ये जवाब है उन सारे लोगों को जो सीएए का विरोध कर रहे हैं।
Meanwhile, BJP working president JP Nadda also took part in the door-to-door campaign where he urged the party workers to at least visit a household thrice to send across the message.
मैं यहां बैठे तमाम कार्यकर्ताओं से यह निवेदन करूंगा, रुकना नहीं जब तक आप एक एक घर पर 3-3 बार उनका दरवाजा खटखटाकर भारतीय जनता पार्टी का संदेश नहीं पहुंचा देते हैं, तब तक रुकना नहीं है। इस बात के लिए हमको काम में जुटना है।
The BJP on Sunday launched a campaign to mobilize support for the Citizenship Amendment Act. BJP President Amit Shah led the party's door-to-door campaign, which is a 10-day campaign to spread awareness about the CAA, with the top party leaders reaching out to the people across the country. Amit Shah visited homes in Lajpat Nagar in Delhi and talked to people about the benefits of the amended citizenship law. He also distributed literature on the subject and urged the people to go through it. And during his visits to several houses in an area with a significant population of refugees, he assured them that the government is on their side. He reiterated that this legislation has nothing to do with the citizenship of the minorities in India. While Amit Shah was in Delhi for the campaign, other top party leaders like Rajnath Singh, JP Nadda and Nitin Gadkari were also holding door-to-door campaigns in different parts of the country.
पूरे देश के हमारे करोड़ों कार्यकर्ता आज से घर घर जाकर ये महत्वाकांक्षी संपर्क की योजना हमने बनाई है। नागरिकता संशोधन विधेयक पारित होने के बाद विपक्ष के लोग अपनी क्षुद्र राजनीति के लिए, राजनीतिक रोटियां सेकने के लिए इस विषय का उपयोग कर रहे हैं। कल पाकिस्तान में ननकाना साहब पर जिस प्रकार का हमला बोला गया, आज एक सिख युवक की वहां पर हत्या हुई है, नगर कीर्तन के लिए सिखों को रोका गया है और जो 47 में हमारी 23% आबादी थी वो 3% तक आ चुकी है। इसमें अपने आप स्पष्ट होता है ये ऐतिहासिक निर्णय की कितनी आवश्यकता थी। नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में वो हुआ है। हमारे कार्यकर्ता घर घर जाकर इसकी जानकारी देने वाले हैं।
जो कानूनी रूप से बिल्कुल स्पष्ट है, कानून के मुताबिक है, संसद में पारित हो चुका है और सब कुछ जो भी सही प्रक्रिया उसका नियमानुसार काम हो चुका है। बावजूद उसके लोग इस तरीके का विरोध कर रहे हैं और बसें जला रहे हैं, ट्रेनें जला रहे हैं, तो जाहिर तौर पे उसका मुकाबला अगर सड़कों पे होना है तो सड़कों पे हो।
And the BJP has condemned Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan's statement on the Nankana Sahib incident. BJP leader Sambit Patra on Sunday said that Pakistan's Prime Minister should answer on Nankana Sahib rather than talking about the condition of minorities in India. Patra also accused Imran Khan of promoting terrorism in his country. He said while addressing a press conference in Delhi that post the surgical strike and the air strike at Balakot, Imran Khan has been caught red-handed promoting terrorism.
देखिए, इमरान खान ट्वीट करके कहते हैं कि ननकाना साहब में कल जो हुआ मैं तो उसके खिलाफ हूं, किंतु मोदी और आरएसएस जो इंडिया में मुसलमानों के साथ और यहां के माइनॉरिटीज के साथ कर रहे हैं उसकी हकीकत क्या है। आज इस प्लेटफॉर्म से हम इमरान खान को दो टूक जवाब देना चाहते हैं। मिस्टर इमरान खान, यू हेड अ कंट्री विच इज बेस्ट कॉल्ड एज टेररिस्तान। आप टेररिस्तान को हेड करते हैं, आपका देश आतंकीस्तान है। और आज हम जानते हैं कि आखिर चाहे यूनाइटेड नेशन हो, चाहे आपका ट्विटर हो, आप भारत के खिलाफ क्यों बरगला रहे हैं, आप भारत के खिलाफ क्यों पोस्ट कर रहे हैं ट्वीट्स। इसलिए कर रहे हैं क्योंकि सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक और एयर स्ट्राइक के पश्चात जो आपकी हालत हुई है, आप खुद उसको एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। इमरान खान तो ट्वीट करते हैं, कुछ लोग भारत में भी हैं जो इस प्रकार के घृणा को भारत में फैलाने की कोशिश करते हैं। जहां तक कांग्रेस का सवाल है, न केवल लटकाना, अटकाना, भटकाना, अपितु भ्रम फैलाना और आग जलाना इनका काम है। कांग्रेस पार्टी के राशिद अलवी ने आज जिस प्रकार का स्टेटमेंट दिया है, हम उसकी निंदा करते हैं। उन्होंने कहा है कि इमरान खान और नरेंद्र मोदी की यह साजिश है, दोनों मिले हुए हैं, दोनों मिलकर ये सब ऐसा प्रोपेगेंडा कर रहे हैं। इमरान खान को प्रोजेक्ट मोदी करवा रहे हैं और मोदी जी को प्रोजेक्ट इमरान खान करवा रहे हैं। मैं सोनिया जी और राहुल जी से पूछना चाहता हूं, क्या आप इस प्रकार के वक्तव्य से सहमत हैं?
Now to some other news now. Bihar governor on Sunday ordered to hold the population census and update the national population register in the state under 2021 census. Bihar Deputy Chief Minister Sushil Kumar Modi has said that the national population register will be updated in the state from 15th of May to 28th of May. Modi also said that action would be taken against officials if they refuse to carry out the NPR exercise. However, Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, who has already said no to National Register of Citizens in the state, has not spoken anything on the NPR so far. Big story coming in from Rajasthan. Well, Kota's JK Lone Hospital is not the only hospital in Rajasthan presenting a sorry state of affairs. Now, a government-run hospital in Bikaner saw the death of at least 162 children last year in December. The official said that all the deceased children had taken birth at the primary healthcare centers and the community healthcare centers and were referred to the PBM hospital in a critical condition.
कारण ये है कि एक तो पेरिफेरी से टर्शरी सेक्टर तक गवर्नमेंट ने फैसिलिटीज़ प्रोवाइड की हैं, फ्री ट्रांसपोर्ट की, एम्बुलेंसेस इजीली अवेलेबल हो जाती है पेरिफेरी पे भी, और उससे सीरियस पेशेंट्स जो हैं वो ज़्यादा टर्शरी सेंटर तक पहुंच जाते हैं। तो हमारे पास कॉम्प्लिकेटेड केसेस का नंबर जो है वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा हो जाता है। यूजुअली जैसे आउट हाउस और इन हाउस दो तरह के पेशेंट्स होते हैं, जिनकी बाहर डिलीवरी हुई है और जिनकी यहाँ पे डिलीवरी हुई है। तो उन केसेस में कॉम्प्लिकेशंस थोड़ी ज़्यादा होती हैं, तो डेथ्स का उसमें परसेंटेज ज़्यादा।
Now, a total of 2,219 children, including those born at the hospital and those who arrived from outside, were admitted at the hospital in the month of December. And out of these, 162 children, mostly infants, passed away last month. That is, around 7% of the children admitted at the hospital had died in the month of December. And the annual data suggests that the hospital witnessed the deaths of 1,682 children in the entire 2019 year. All right, let's get all the updates. Our colleague Navikram Singh is now joining us from Kota. A very good morning, Navikram. Navikram, we have seen, the how Kota Hospital and then the incident of Bundi Hospital presenting a sorry state of affairs in Rajasthan. But now it has emerged that there is another hospital now in Bikaner, which has a track record which is in fact worse than these two hospitals as well. What is the government doing about these incidents of infant deaths that are being reported?
ऐश्वर्या, गुड मॉर्निंग। अगर सरकार के प्रयासों की बात करें तो सरकार ने आनन फानन में यहाँ कई कोशिशें की हैं जिससे कि बच्चों की जो बच्चे यहाँ पर एडमिट हो रहे हैं उनकी मौत ना हो। लेकिन एक सवाल उठता है ऐश्वर्या, सबसे जो अहम सवाल है कि अभी तक फिलहाल यहाँ पर कोई ऐसे खास इंतजाम नहीं किए गए थे, बल्कि जो सरकारी जो बड़े अस्पताल हैं, जैसे कोटा का जेके लोन अस्पताल हो या बीकानेर का अस्पताल हो या जोधपुर का अस्पताल हो, यहाँ बहुत दूर दूर से जो ग्रामीण इलाके हैं वहां से बच्चों के इलाज के लिए गरीब लोग आते हैं। लेकिन यहाँ पर जो सुविधाएं हैं, जो बच्चों के लिए, नवजात बच्चों के लिए जो सबसे जरूरी है, अगर वो क्रिटिकल हालत में है तो जैसे कि नेबुलाइजर की सुविधा हो या फिर ऑक्सीजन से जुड़े हुए संयंत्र हो या बाकी और सुविधाएं हो, यहाँ सुविधाओं का जो एक रिपोर्ट आ रही है उसके मुताबिक ज्यादातर अस्पतालों में जो सुविधाएं हैं वो बेहद कम है और यहाँ पर उतने बेड भी नहीं है जितना की जरूरत है। तो ऐसे में लोगों को इंतजार करना पड़ता है और कई मामलों में हमने देखा कि अस्पताल प्रशासन की यहाँ पर काफी कमी भी दिखाई दी, क्योंकि जो एक बेड पर जितने स्टाफ चाहिए उतना भरपूर स्टाफ भी उनके पास नहीं था। और एक और सबसे अहम बात देखने में मिलती है ऐश्वर्या कि ज्यादातर यहाँ पर जो हमें मीडिया रिपोर्ट में भी देखा था और यहाँ लोकल आने के बाद भी पता चला कि ज्यादातर जो डॉक्टर या नर्सिंग स्टाफ है वो प्राइवेट प्रैक्टिस भी करते हैं। ऐसे में यहाँ जो अस्पताल में उनका समय है वो उतना समय नहीं दे पाते हैं। ये आरोप है यहाँ के जो लोकल लोग हैं उन्होंने लगाए हैं। तो जो नवजात बच्चे हैं उनका बेहतर तरीके से केयर नहीं हो पाती, जिसकी वजह से यहाँ पर बच्चों की लगातार मौत हो रही है, बच्चे दम तोड़ रहे हैं। और सरकार ने जो कदम उठाए हैं वो भी अभी बताया जा रहा है कि नाकाफी साबित हो रहे हैं, क्योंकि जो जितनी जरूरत है प्राथमिक स्तर पर, क्योंकि कोटा के अगर आसपास की बात करें, बूंदी की या फिर जो यहाँ मंडाना इलाका है उसके आसपास, जो प्राथमिक अगर स्तर पर बेहतर उपचार बच्चों को मुहैया करा दिया जाएगा तो उनके बचने की संभावना ज्यादा हो जाती है। लेकिन प्राथमिक स्तर पर स्वास्थ्य सेवाओं की सुविधा उतनी बेहतर है नहीं जितनी की जरूरत है। जी ऐश्वर्या।
So sorry state of affairs as far as hospitals in Rajasthan are concerned. Thank you so much, Navikram, for all those updates there. Now, a big story coming in from the national capital. Home Minister Amit Shah spoke to Delhi Police Commissioner about the situation in JNU and ordered an inquiry by senior police official into the violence that broke out Sunday evening. The Home Minister's office said that the inquiry will be carried out by a joint CP level officer. The Ministry of Home Affairs has also sought a report from the Delhi Police about the situation prevailing in the institution and the steps taken to restore peace. Remember, violence broke out at Jawaharlal Nehru University on Sunday night as masked men armed attacked students and teachers and damaged property on the campus, prompting the administration to call in police, which later conducted a flag march. 18 students received injuries during the clashes. The injured have been admitted to All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Meanwhile, Human Resource Development Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank has condemned the incidents of violence inside the JNU campus and said that it is unfortunate and a matter of serious concern. He has appealed to the students to maintain calm and peace in the campus and maintain the dignity of the university. Let's get to some other news now. On the completion of 2 years of the Aspirational Districts program, Prime Minister Narendra Modi tweeted his blog that he wrote, emphasizing on the need to identify existing aspirations in the district and channelize them to create a ripple effect for transforming aspirational districts. In the blog, the Prime Minister wrote that we are living in an era of immense possibilities, which in turn creates opportunities, and the development of every village of these 112 districts is vital to the government's commitment to social justice. The Prime Minister also pointed out at a public event in December last year that ADP has ensured that incisive policy interventions are being formulated at the ground level through the joint efforts of various central government bureaucrats, district teams, and civil society organizations. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla led the Indian parliamentary delegation for the 25th Conference of Speakers and Presiding Officers of the Commonwealth in Ottawa in Canada. Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman Harivansh and Secretary General of Lok Sabha Snehlata Srivastav are also part of the delegation. 4 workshop sessions and a special plenary will be held during the conference. The Lok Sabha Speaker will be the workshop presenter in the 4th workshop and will also attend the meeting of a CSPOC Standing Committee to be held on 6th of January, that is today. Indian Institute of Public Administration's chairman T.N. Chaturvedi passed away in Noida on Sunday. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu condoled his demise and said that T.N. Chaturvedi was known for his integrity and his knowledge. The Vice President added that Chaturvedi was a towering intellectual and true nationalist. He had an illustrious career in public life and he served every role with distinction. On to some other news now. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Sunday spoke to his counterparts from Iran, Oman, the United States and the UAE regarding the escalating tensions in the Gulf. The exchanges were a part of the international consultations among various stakeholders that began after Iran's Major General Qasem Soleimani was killed in an American drone attack in Baghdad. S. Jaishankar tweeted after the meet, concluded a conversation with the Foreign Minister of Iran, Javed Zarif, noted that developments have taken a very serious turn. India remains deeply concerned about the levels of tension. And later, the Foreign Minister also held a telephonic conversation with the US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Oman's Foreign Minister Yusuf Alawi and Abdullah bin Zayed of the UAE, where he highlighted India's stakes and concerns. Meanwhile, in related news, Iran has declared that it will no longer abide by any of the restrictions imposed by the 2015 nuclear deal. In a statement, it said that it would no longer observe limitations on its capacity for enrichment, the level of enrichment, as well as the stocks of enrichment material or research and development. Now, the announcement followed a meeting of the Iranian cabinet in Tehran. Remember, under the 2015 nuclear accord, Iran agreed to limit its sensitive nuclear activities and allow in international inspectors in return for the lifting of economic sanctions. US President Donald Trump had abandoned the deal in 2018. Tensions have been high over the killing of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani by the United States in Baghdad. And on Sunday, hundreds of thousands of people turned out in Iran to give Soleimani a hero's welcome ahead of his funeral on Tuesday. However, Donald Trump has also threatened major retaliation against Iran if Tehran were to retaliate for the killing of Soleimani. And in related news, after the targeted killing of Iranian commander Qasem Soleimani at the Baghdad International Airport, the Iraqi parliament passed a resolution calling for foreign troops to leave the country. The resolution called on Iraq's government to work towards ending the presence of all foreign troops on Iraqi soil. The vote represents a rebuke of the United States over its targeting airstrike on Iranian commander Soleimani in Iraq early on Friday. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump threatened sanctions against Baghdad. The US President said that if troops did leave, Baghdad would have to pay Washington for the cost of the air base there. All right, let's get you all the weather updates now. Severe cold wave conditions and intense cold wave have disrupted normal life in several parts of northern region of the country. The Meteorological Department has issued an orange and a yellow weather warning for heavy rains and snowfall for the next 2 days in Himachal Pradesh. Minimum temperatures decreased by 2 to 3 degrees Celsius with Shimla, Manali, Kufri, Dalhousie, Kelong and Kalpa shivering at sub-zero temperatures. In Jammu and Kashmir, overcast conditions brightened the prospects of light to moderate snowfall in most parts of Kashmir over the next 48 hours. The mercury inlay in the Ladakh Union Territory settled at a low of minus 16.4 degrees Celsius. National capital is likely to experience light rains during the next 3 days due to a fresh western disturbance. In Punjab and Haryana, intense cold wave conditions persisted with the mercury plunging several degrees below normal and fog also engulfing few areas. Karnal was the coldest place in Haryana with a low of 1.8 degrees Celsius. And Bhatinda and Adhampur were the coldest in Punjab at 3.3 degrees Celsius each. Now, a special segment on environment and climate change. Zambia is fighting a devastating drought caused by a dramatic shift in weather patterns. Temperatures in parts of South Africa are expected to rise by twice the global average as a result of climate change. Zambia Red Cross has warned that the drought following 2 years of poor rains and failed harvests, has left over 2.3 million people facing severe food insecurity. While rainfall hit a record low in southern and western Zambia, flash floods and waterlogging occurred in the north and east of the country. Now, this combination has resulted in poor harvest, with the families surviving on wild fruits and roots, which is posing a serious risk to their health as well. And not just food, enough drinking water is also not available, which means that people and animals use the same water points, exposing people to diseases and creating heightened risk of animal attacks as well. And sports news now. The first T20 international between India and Sri Lanka was called off without a ball being bowled due to wet outfield, which was caused by a spell of heavy rains just after the toss in Guwahati on Sunday. The umpires held several inspections, but the damp patches on the pitch did not allow the match to start. Earlier, India won the toss and elected to bowl in the team's first match of the new year. Meanwhile, the second match of the 3-match series will be played on Tuesday in Indore, while the final game is scheduled to be held in Pune on 10th of January. And that is the wrap on this edition of Breakfast News. Thanks for watching. Have a great day ahead.